Hello everyone and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 3. Since we are currently in the middle of both the Nobunaga's Ambition game as well as the Japan game on live stream, I figured we'd switch it up a little bit rather than playing in the exact same scenario as we are used to. We're going to sort of randomly generate a map. Now, last time I believe it was 120 random nations. This time I knocked that down to 90. So hopefully there'll be a few less calculations that the computer needs to do in order to get us through each day. And we have our three faction leaders here. We've got the Free State of Jerusalem as the head of the Allied nations over here. Yugoslavia is the head of the Axis, very close to the Free State of Jerusalem, basically just like last time. And we have Djibouti all the way over here, and I feel like Djibouti is fairly thematic. I feel like I like the idea of playing as Djibouti in this game. So we're going to just hop on in. I usually don't worry about the victory conditions or anything like that. I don't feel like I need the pat on the back of like, yeah, you won the game. Hey, look, you got the victory conditions all done and good. So we're just going to load into Djibouti here, and we're going to double check and make sure that our autosave interval is at monthly. So if we do have another crash like last time, we won't have lost too much. We're going to use the legacy camera. Volume's fine. It's still a crappy resolution. I keep on trying. I can't figure out how to force Hearts of Iron to go 1280 by 720. I feel like Paradox programmed this game to be 5 by 3 resolution rather than 16 by 9 resolutions. It's not natively widescreen, so it's a little bit weird. So we can do weekly, but I don't like that. We're going to do monthly. If it starts getting really intense, we'll go back down to weekly. I also changed it so that the IC in the world, the industrial capacity in the world, is 125 of base. So it's significantly more than the base industrial capacity, but the resources are only 75% of base industrial of base resources. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more in terms of resource shortages. We also, once again, I turned oil war on, so I don't know where our oil provinces are located, but I doubt that we have very many of them. So we'll need to do a little bit of scouting around and see if we can find oil, and we'll see what's going on there. I also started us with 0 army. Nobody has any army, and we have basically until 1938, until the 1st of January 1938, before any wars can happen. So we have a 2-year build-up period. We have a lot of manpower, a lot of leadership, and we also, interestingly enough, have all of these cores over here on South America. So it's like in our best interests, maybe rather than attacking the guys immediately surrounding us, although connecting these two would be nice, basically having the entirety of the English Channel to ourselves. It might be in our best interests to actually come down here and conquer all of this territory, which is, it seems like, is just a bunch of random people who have colonies over here. Like this is an exclave of ours, which is one single province surrounded by a whole bunch of random other people. Let's see, where's our other? We have another province down here that's technically ours. It's not giving us any resources or manpower or anything like that. And then we've got this guy down here, which is a port province connected to a province that has manpower and a significant amount of energy, actually. That's pretty nice. And this province gives us some energy too, but really, honestly, maybe that won't be one of our goals. It seems like South America is not actually going to be that helpful to us. We don't have any colonies in Africa to speak of, but we do have a little bit over here in the Philippines. We have Puerto Princesa over here. It doesn't give us any manpower or resources, but we have a naval base over here. And we've got a small little group of cities over here, provinces anyway. We can use that to try to take over this this region over here. We have cores on basically most of the North Island over here, which is nice, but there's really not much in the way of actual industrial capacity over here. So maybe we'll just completely ignore that as well. Maybe focus on Europe. to a greater or lesser extent. But we start out as the head of the Communist Party. So let's take a look at these guys. We have a plus 5% IC guy, which is always nice to have. Crude oil plus... Let's go for another plus 5% IC. Ruling party support is nice, so let's stick with that. You don't have any replacements for you guys. Espionage, counterintelligence bonus. We'll go with the counter-intel. It'll be fine. Defend reinforced chance is great. School of mass combat might also be good, considering how much manpower we have. But I think we're going to go with the defend reinforced chance. We don't want IC minus 10%. That is absolutely horrible. I think we are going to go with the infantry practical over here. We're probably going to have a majority infantry army, at least in the very beginning here. Naval base efficiency is probably going to be our best bet, considering we don't have a navy to begin with. And light aircraft practical delay is definitely going to be our go-to system over here. Now, we do have more efficient laws, but we don't have enough money to actually enact them yet, so we're not going to do anything with that. And we have plenty of IC that we can move around, and we have a full army that we need to get going as well. Let's nix out of all this stuff. Yes, go away. Go over here to the technology screen. Now, we only need 200 officers to have a max officer ratio, but we are going to be doing a significant amount of army production. That said, I'm not entirely sure we want to focus on officers just yet. Now, being the head of the communist faction, we are going to want a decent amount of diplomatic points per day, so that we can actually go and influence other people to our alliance. Let's see. United Kingdom would be good. Andorra. I'm just gonna pick a couple of these guys and be like, yes, influence. And you, yes, influence. So we've got 2 people we're influencing right now, which is going to take up 4 of our diplomacy points. We're going to knock this down so that we're producing, let's do 2.2 diplomatic points per day. And we're using 2 diplomatic points per day on the influence, so that'll be fine. Spies, once again, not really going to be that big of a deal to us. We'll do 1 leadership investment into spies, giving us 0.15 spies every day. That'll be just fine. And then the rest can go into research, and we have... looks like 23 research projects we can be focusing on. So we're going to completely forget about cavalry and militia weapons because right from the get-go we have enough cavalry weapons, cavalry research, that we can research motorized infantry. So we're going to... I mean, that's ahead of time. That's 2 years ahead of time, but I think that's relatively important. We're going to do the motorized infantry. We're going to be able to get engineer brigades. Mountain infantry is a yes, and I think we are going to do our best to get ahead of time on infantry weapons and equipment. Then, yeah, we'll do the mountain warfare. Arctic isn't really that necessary. No, okay. But we are going to basically sink as much as we can into our tank brigades. If we can get on the tank brigades quickly, that's going to be fantastic for us. And I think at the beginning, we are going to focus on artillery to the detriment of anti-tank, because everybody's starting off with basically no army, so there shouldn't be that much in the way of tanks for us to be facing. We start with basically no boats to speak of, and we are going to want boats. So since we're starting from basically nothing, I think we're going to go with a cruiser build. So we're going to get some quick cruiser, light cruiser research. They'll be our primary screening ships, and maybe we should go battle cruisers just at the beginning until aircraft carriers are good. So let's sink 2 into battle cruiser and capital ship production over here, or do we just want let's just do heavy cruisers. We'll do heavy cruiser main armament and then engine, so they can keep up with our light cruisers. And then we'll have 1 guy over here researching better aircraft carriers just at the beginning here until we get to focus on it a little bit more. We do start with very good aircraft tech, so I'm not going to invest anything into the fighter aircraft tech yet because it's all well in advance of where we're at. Naval bombers would be nice to have, but it looks like our country is fairly well focused on aircraft technology to begin the game. And we are going to invest rather heavily in all of this. All of this is very important. And radios. Radios is very... I can't believe we don't start out with the first radio tech. And yeah, we're going to want to get radio as soon as possible to get that additional 10% combat efficiency. That's fantastic. Yeah, I guess repair rate a little bit, just to fill out our research. We already have more than we can actually deal with, but we are going to want operational level organization, infantry warfare. Let's do, yeah, artillery and anti-tank organization as well. Once again, we're going to want to get human wave as soon as possible, as well as grand battle plan as soon as possible. Combined arms warfare would be nice. Superior firepower would be nice. Spearhead doctrine would be nice, but not right now. And I think since we're going to go with... I mean, we have cruisers and carriers. This is going to be our focus, really. So I'm not even going to worry about the rest of this nonsense. It's probably a poor decision on my part. Actually, yeah, we are going to want convoy escorts. And yeah, okay, that'll be fine. That'll be fine for now. We'll come back to it and take a look at it later on if we need to. And okay, so that's it for that. We're going to do the bare minimum of consumer goods that we possibly need. We're not going to do any lend-lease. We have no units to upgrade. We have no units to reinforce. We need next to no supplies. So we'll start getting a small stockpile of supplies going on. But mostly we have 254 production we can assign to basically whatever we want. So let's take a look at our position. We need transports right from the get-go, and it looks like we actually have very few ports over here. We've got one in Plymouth and one in Bude over there. But we have a decent amount of airfields over here, and London is, once again, a massive city. Look at that. It's absolutely humongous. How's Paris looking? Not quite as built up in terms of industrial capacity, but that's okay. I do think we are going to want to flesh out our industrial capacity just a little bit more. So we're going to come in here, and let's dedicate 25 IC for the next decent amount of time to building industrial capacity up, just so that we can get our practical experience in that category. We're also going to want convoys because our starting position is so wild and crazy. Basically, we have this channel to worry about right from the get-go. We have Communist China owning the Channel Islands and Newport. That's interesting. I wonder where the rest of Communist China is. I don't know. Weird nonsense with this random map. Okay, and now we need... Okay, we can build Gurkhas as our specialty unit, which is nice. And yeah, I think we're gonna do generic square units with 3 infantry and 1 artillery. We're gonna build these guys as reserves, and we're going to have... Let's build, yeah, 10 at a time, twice, and then we're going to want a group of garrison units as well to defend our ports from the rear. But only 1 corps for now. We'll do let's do 2 units of garrison and then an anti-aircraft maybe? That might not be a bad idea. It's relatively cheap, anti-aircraft, in terms of supplies and in terms of industrial capacity, although it is a little bit more expensive in terms of manpower. But it does give them additional soft attack and hard attack, so it's a good all-around bonus, this anti-aircraft. So yeah, let's save that as our garrison division, and we'll build a bit of them. Then we are going to want interceptors, obviously, just to get our light aircraft practical up. And how about... Okay, it takes 149 days, roughly 150 days. We're going to build 2 of them, and since we will be able to continuously upgrade them basically from here on out, we're going to want to keep our practical as high as we possibly can. We're going to want medium bomber practical as well, just so that we can build naval bombers. So we're going to build two interceptors, 2 bombers, and actually let's just build 1 bomber at a time. Yeah, we'll double up on the interceptors. Then in terms of our navy, we are going to want to right away build transports. Crappy practical. And yeah, I do think we're going to want to just get our practical up by building one of each kind. Luckily, cruisers, both heavy and light cruisers, have the same practical, but boy, we have negative 60% penalties. That is absolutely atrocious. So it's going to take us over a year just to build this first, yeah, it's going to take us until March of next year just to build our first light. Oh, we have 4 of them? No, I don't want to build 4 of them. Yeah, I must have messed that up just on accident. Okay, let's build 2 light cruisers. And once we start actually finishing stuff, we'll take a look at that a little bit in the future. So we are now unpausing, which is absolutely fantastic. We don't need to worry about anything in terms of being attacked or anything like that. We also don't need to worry about reassigning anybody. Actually, I mean, we can. Let's take a look at this. It always lags the first time you actually load up the leader screen, just because it's loading all of the leaders, and it generates a whole bunch of leaders for every group. Yeah, it looks like we're going to want this guy actually in charge of our main fort, our main group. And your old guard, I don't want to give that to everybody. So I guess we'll have you in charge of everybody as well. And I'm just going to go through and be like, hey, you're rank 6, so let's make you skill level 3. He'll be in charge of armies and all that stuff. Rather than 4. Just so that we can make sure that we have the best guys in charge of everybody from the get-go. And we'll have rank 5 people, 2-star generals, so these guys will be the army groups, and the front will be controlled by these 2 rank 6s. And when we have another army group, we'll promote someone from another rank 6, and then the armies will be commanded by other rank 6s. Rank 5s will be in command of actual corps, and rank 4s we will demote to rank 1, so that rank 4s and rank 3s and rank 2s and all that stuff will all be commanding individual divisions as we build them. And then, as we build our first actual group of combat brigades, combat divisions, we will reassign people to make sure that they actually aren't max skill, because I believe in this mod the max skill is randomly assigned as a number 1 through 10, so it's entirely possible that we can get a skill 10 general if we just pay attention to the potential growth of everybody. I know I said we would unpause here, but I'm busy, okay? Come on, give me a second. Down to rank 2. Everybody has a decent amount of interesting skills going on. Like, I'd love to get this guy upgraded basically as soon as possible, but it might not be in the cards. Oops, I just skipped way to the bottom. But hey, here we can see all the rank 0 guys that we really don't want in charge of anything except for, well, I mean, see, and that's the difficulty. Do you want to take the penalty now and get these guys ranked up, or do you want your first war to be fought with your best generals, and then just assign the rank 0 guys to, fighting in the rear and not participating in any actual combat? Because to a certain extent, you want your crappy people to be getting experience and leveling up, but at the same time, the first few wars you're going to fight are probably going to be the most important ones that determine whether or not you win or lose from then on out. So we'll see. We also want to make sure that our trade is set to automatically happen, because we don't want to pay attention to that sort of thing. I wonder what countries are rich in oil. That might determine what our plan is for the first few attacks we're going to be doing. That said, we might also want to basically save our oil for the Navy and the automate trade for the Navy and the airplanes. Let's see. Cape Verde has a surplus of 800 crude oil. Italy, surplus of 500. Nationalist China, 400. Wessex, 3,500. And everybody else has deficits. Okay, so these four are going to be really wealthy. Wessex, Nationalist China, Italy, and Cape Verde. Let's see where they are. Wessex, right here. Yeah, okay. Nationalist China. I don't know where they are. I suppose they could be over here. This is Corsica. This is Panama. Cambodia. I don't see them. Interesting. And the game has bugged out yet again, and is no longer showing people's names on the map. Awesome. Well, okay. That was an interesting idea. It didn't work out. Let's just unpause the game, see how far we get. Starting manpower bonus. Everybody gets an additional 400. Fantastic. And now we have more IC? Oh, because of our leaders being flip-flopped around and everything like that. I guess let's start getting a surplus of supplies going. I'm not worried about reinforcement or anything like that. We have our practical starting for light aircraft and medium aircraft. We have practical starting for transports. We've got 2 light cruisers and 1 unit of destroyers. Battle cruiser is capital ship, and battle cruisers are probably going to be the cheapest capital ship production we can actually get going with. That said, I don't know if we want capital ship production. Do I? I don't have... Yeah, I decided against doing any research on capital ships, so yeah, let's just completely ignore capital ship production. Because carriers use a completely different one. That said, I suppose we could start getting seaplane carriers, which take battleship stats. But they're cheap. Well, not really, actually. No, they're not cheap at all. The cheapest one would be an escort carrier. Let's get an escort carrier. Just, oh my goodness. Come on. I still have the 4 there, don't I? Stop it. Stop it. Go away. Go away. Yeah, just one. Just one. Okay. And we still actually have extra production going on. Cavalry? Do we want an armored unit? We might want an armored unit. Let's build a Gurkha. A Gurkha unit. Let's see. You don't have heart attack. Compare you to normal infantry, you're actually weaker than normal infantry. You require more officers, same amount of supplies, more industrial capacity, more manpower, and more build time. But you probably take much less penalty to attacking in certain areas. So we're going to build a group of... Oh, we can't build that many Gurkhas. We can build 2 of these divisions of Gurkhas. What if we add infantry to the mix? Can we build 3 of these units? So it's looking like we have a total of 6 Gurkha brigades that we're allowed at this point. So in terms of spec ops, we don't really have that much of an option. Unless we do one of these things. Then we can build a full corps of Gurkha. And then we can get... once we research engineers, we can attach engineers to these guys. I don't know. I don't know if that's our best option, really, at this point. Let's look into building cavalry with an armored car attachment, and then we'll attach engineers to these guys when we have the opportunity to. That'll be fine for now, just to give us some mobility. Nice little boost there. We only have 61, and we need 69.3 or 70 money until we can get a better law. We are losing money. Inhabitable provinces. Let's take a look at our infrastructure. It's not too bad. It's not too crappy. Can't really complain too much about it. Soviet Union. These dudes are attempting to align themselves to our faction. Yeah, I'm sorry, Soviet Union. I know that you're the Communist International, supposedly, but that's our job now, and we have cores on all of your territory, so it's not going to happen. We have 71 money. Let's take a look at the laws that we can enact. Specialist training. Better starting experience. It's always worth it. And we are, in our foreign minister laws, we are a superpower, which is pretty fantastic. I don't really... I mean, this basically means that we can declare war whenever we want, doesn't it? Yeah. As far as I know. Yep. Can't really complain. We are influencing two other nations to us. And other nations, like Monaco, for instance, are attempting to join our nation. I'm going to after this episode quit and reload, just that we can get the names back on the map. It's a little bit silly that it bugs out like that sometimes. We have a free spy. It is too early in the game for free spies. Let's bump up our priority, and we'll get low priority on all of the people that we neighbor, just to get the spies spread out a little bit, even though most of these nations we're never actually going to be worrying about. Yeah, we should not have any free spies. And we actually have a significant amount of influence as well. I'm assuming that we're doing our best to get effective trade. Yeah, we're just, we're chewing through our resources quite a bit. It's looking like we're going to run out of rare materials very soon here. Do we want heavy infantry? Industry? I see efficiency for production is good. It's better than our negative 15% right now. Yeah, I guess we might want to actually increase that once we get enough money to. We really don't have much money at all right now. Suppose maybe we should... I think we might want to actually focus on more supply production. Let's knock it up to 10 and a half, so that maybe the AI will start to sell a bunch of our supplies. Once we get a good enough stockpile, the AI might see that we have a humongous surplus of supplies and start selling their supplies for money, and then using that money to buy more rare materials. And energy. Holy crap, we need a bunch of energy. Although a lot of it's being used to get us oil, because apparently we only produce about 15 in our home territory, and we want 120 every day. So yeah, this will be interesting. This will be fun. So yeah, honestly, this was a quick setup. I read on the forums of the random Hearts of Iron forums that actually starting without any troops, without any navy or anything like that in 1936, and then giving all the nations 2 full years of an enforced truce is often the best way to get a jump start, to get started, because you can knock it up to speed 5 right away and basically make the army exactly how you want it, and you don't need to worry about starting troops or anything like that, because each nation has 2 years to build up using what manpower they have and what industrial capacity they have, and at that point shortages start to become relatively apparent to all of the nations around you. So we just need to take a look at our diplomacy screen every now and again and see how close, say, the United Kingdom is. The difficulty to inviting them to our faction is going to be the relative neutrality of everybody, simply based on the fact that nobody can declare war, so there isn't really going to be a threat. Although we can start raising people's threat with our spies. We don't really have that much in the way of spies, though. We have good national unity. Our ruling party is doing fine. We have no elections, so I'm not worried about that at all. So yeah, I think we're just going to focus solely on counter-espionage and kill everybody else's spies. We've already caught 11. Awesome. I'd like more information. I'd like to know who is spying on us. But it's nice that we're destroying other people's leadership here by just killing other people's spies. And we're doing all right with spying on our own. Once again, we have 0.15 spies per month. I do wish that it showed you what the increase in your spies was over here, just like it shows you the increase in your leadership. We have a diplomatic influence. We have a bunch of diplomatic influence, speaking of. Crude oil. We are producing a surplus of crude oil because we're converting stuff. Oh, we're actually trading away our own crude oil. Interesting. Well, I guess that's that. We still don't have enough money, but we are getting a lot of money, though, probably because we're trading away our crude oil. Yeah, we're trading away a lot of it. That's fine. Whatever way the AI decides to get us more money. Okay, we have 100 money right now, and we can enact heavy industry emphasis in the... right here, industrial policy. Yep, because we're communists, we can do that. Which means we have more of a need for consumer goods. Whoa! Why is it at 100 now? Why is that a thing? That is quite the need. Okay, I need to take a look at that again. We might want to change that back. Consumer goods during peacetime plus 10%. Okay, so we lost the negative 1% there, and we lost the daily descent change of 20%. Which would drastically influence our consumer goods need, I suppose. So what we're trading for here is significantly less IC to be available, to be assigned to production. In exchange for it being much more efficient. I'm not entirely certain that I like that, actually. We might want to change it back. Huh. I'm not sure that we can change it back, actually. Well, I mean, it says that we're at... whenever we're at peace, we can change it back. It probably won't let us, though, now that we've moved up. Oh, no, it would. Okay, so the decision that we have is spend 103 IC every day on consumer goods. Or, come on, politics. Or suffer a 15%, actually it's a 20% swing in IC efficiency for production. So do we want significantly more IC dedicated to production, or do we want it to be 20% more efficient? Let's get... I mean, this is a 90 IC swing here. That's more than 20% of our total industrial capacity. So yeah, I think that's definitely worth it to stick with where we're at. Maybe if we go to war and our consumer goods need is markedly reduced, I'd rather have almost 300 IC dedicated to production than have it to dedicate an additional 90 IC to consumer goods here in exchange for 20% efficiency. I think that that's a good trade on our part. Yeah. Alright, but I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to reload the game so that we can actually get country names on our map here. Thank you for joining me on our Djibouti. I'll need to figure out a way to actually pronounce that fairly soon.